Welcome back to the Overcast Podcast. This is episode number 16. Can you believe we've been going 16 weeks?
We had 1 week where we did
crazy.
2, I think. So
did we? Oh, maybe that was CES.
Maybe 15 weeks, but whatever. Still
pretty damn good.
Yeah, a really good run. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content here on the Drone District channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know what you guys want to see on this channel because, again, we're still trying to implement videos here and there. We've got the live stream. We have got the Overcast Podcast.
The
vlogs are fun. They're so much fun to put together.
They're fun. Travel vlogs are awesome.
But what else is fun?
What else is fun?
Yeah.
Flying with insurance with Skywatch AI. That's right. If you haven't already, check the link down in the description below. Skywatch AI is an on-demand insurance app that provides you liability coverage for your drone and properties beneath you. There is also a monthly plan as well that can insure your drone against damage. That's like for the hull
insurance.
I don't know why I'm telling it to you. Like, you don't know, you already know. But they have an Android app and an iOS app for your iPhone. And it's free to download just to check out if you're interested. One of the benefits that I use with it all the time is obviously the weather, but I also like to know the risk in my area. And I'm going to be doing a tutorial, I think, on how to properly insure properties if you're going to be using it commercially.
That's a good idea.
So definitely stay tuned for that. But I'd absolutely suggest checking it out because it's a really easy way to get insurance. It's available in 47 states. And if you don't want to use State Farm or something like that, it's a great alternative.
I agree. So again, today we're talking about how... Oh, did we even say our topic yet?
That's not very original of you. Today we're talking about how to keep your drone content original.
You guys are in for a treat because we've got the king of original.
You are such a... Insert bleep, bleep, bleep. No, that's not very true.
Well, so now here, you did your full presentation at Spin Up last year on how
it was absolutely... For me, it was like, honestly, because we were out the night before, I felt like I won that. I felt like I won it. I didn't even have a PowerPoint. But the thing is, like, when we watch drone videos, like, people will sort of accuse it of everybody's video sort of being the same. You sort of use the same soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And there's sort of a methodology behind the reason why we use the songs that we do when we fly. Well, so just everything.
Let's say we have a location that we want to fly. Today, we flew in Kings Park.
We planned that.
Yes. Yep. So we knew before that day even started that we were going to go to Kings Park. Right? And we said, okay, it's an abandoned building. On our way up there, 3-hour drive, we were listening to music back and forth saying, oh, let's look up some eerie songs because it's an eerie place.
Right.
Some bad stuff went down there. So you want music that fits your video. What?
Some bad stuff went down there. Keep your nose clean, pretty lady. Oh, man. So, yes, some very bad stuff went down there. Thank you, Billy. And we were listening to eerie music. Mm-hmm. It was also we knew there was going to be snow on the ground. So the whole scenery just looked like something straight out of Silent Hill.
Yeah. And you know what's something that I like to do? I feel like we're just jumping the gun here, but again,
we are, but that's fine. It's original.
Yeah. I mean, we're just giving you tips on how to make your content original.
Just to stand out.
Look, there's no full-fledged originality. There's somebody that's done something before you, but it's really about making the whole entire thing yours. Yeah. And when I go somewhere and when I fly and I look, sometimes I get reference points and I'll look up the videos that other people have done from places that I go to, whether it be when I went to Linfield, remember the huge complex with all the 13 warehouses, right? Whether I'm flying a stack, whether I'm doing something, right? I always look up somebody's video and I look back and I say, okay, this is what I don't want to do because I want mine to stick out.
Right. You look at things and you say, well, all right, they did this, but I could do it not necessarily better, but you can do it differently. Because in everybody's eyes, your creation is the best. And so we went to, what was it? The psychiatric ward.
Yeah, Kings Park.
And it was an interesting building. It was just one building, but there was multiple buildings off, around it. And we didn't want to just be fixated on the one building. And we have this sort of rule of thumb that we don't like to fly far away from everything because we think closer to your object of flight, the better.
We hopped a lot of curbs getting close to buildings today.
Yes, we did. And we really thought about all angles. We didn't want to just fly orbit around the building. multiple complex maneuvers, flying low, flying high. I mean, we just did some really random weird stuff with a lot of our shots that are just obscure.
I really try to push my drone to its limits to create shots that other people, I guess, not that they're not skilled enough to get, but that they wouldn't even think about getting. With the Inspire 2, you saw the one shot where I came up the wall.
Yeah.
The Inspire 2, you can pitch the gimbal upwards pretty dang far, and you can also pitch it downwards past -90 degrees. So you can look straight down, -90, and you can look backwards back to like -130 degrees. So you can get some really good range of motion. I use that to my advantage to try to get shots that other people might not be able to get. And again, it's like I looked at some photos sometimes and I might not like certain shots because I say, oh, well, somebody could get this with just their regular DSLR. I want to get something that only someone can get with a drone.
Right.
And sometimes I'll start my drone flying from 2 feet off the ground, but then I end up picking it up and it's like, whoa, man, I thought this was a traditional camera, somebody on a gimbal, and then the drone or the camera just went flying. Yeah. So
and that, I like to fly low. Like,
I love it.
I like flying low or like sort of mid range. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like it looks like it could be a traditional camera on either on a slider or a gimbal. It just really mixes up the shot. And then obviously the music, like, you want to always try to pick a track that flows, and I try to always cut my like everything I edit is always cut in, to the beat, or like when we start our videos, we goof around a bit, and like give a little context of where we're flying. I think context is really important when you're doing a drone video. Don't just upload drone footage if you can help it.
Speaking of music, I think that it is so much more important than people think. Like, yes. It can make or break your video.
Soundscaping is so important.
It's almost like audio, right? It's like you can have a great looking video, but if for some reason your audio sucks, it can be unwatchable.
Yeah, and like I like to always like look at the scenery. Like today, it was a very like sort of ghostly thing. So I soundscaped like sort of like, I don't know if it was a woman doing opera or something, but it sounded like scary.
Yeah.
And sort of blend that into the track that I had selected. So now it makes the track my own. Like, nobody's going to have that track. Nobody's going to have that track at all. So I was able to do that. Or if I'm flying over a beach, I like to sort of add some ambient waves into my tracks because it's just like, it's subtle, but people are like, oh man, I hear the waves. Like, it's just little things like that just really make it pop.
And I totally agree. And as we're on this topic of, these different songs and these different shot selections, something that's big, and you know what? I feel like we're almost being hypocrites here, but you want to find an area that is not heavily trafficked. Like, choose a different location that hasn't been shot before. So Kings Park, super famous. I'm sure that has been flown hundreds of times.
Actually, not a lot, really.
Well, but okay, so here's the thing, right? There's a lot of people there, and maybe not a lot of drone photos, but a lot of just photos.
Yeah, there's a lot of photos.
There's been people that have gone there. I love going off the beaten path. I mean, that's like a whole challenge for me, is to try to find somewhere that someone hasn't shot before, and a lot of it stems off of just driving around, and I'll look, and I'll be driving, and I'll look off to the right of the road, and I see something really cool, and I drop a pin real quick, so I know to come back there and fly it, because there's these places you read about online, but if you're just driving down the road and you see something that is a little bit hidden, you could totally find something like a hidden gem that nobody else has shot before.
Absolutely. And that I think is important, is understanding that as you look around, there is art everywhere. There is art everywhere. Every piece of architecture you see, every building you look at, the normal person will see that and be like, that's just a building. But when you have a drone, it becomes so much more than this like static object. It now becomes something of motion. In Florida, we have this building on I-4. We call it the eyesore on I-4. It's a building that literally got 95% of the way complete.
Yeah.
They never done anything with it.
Really?
And it's been sitting there for like, I don't know, 15 years. But there's so many drone flights of it, and everybody has a different perspective of it. And it's just like you got to fly it.
And, and back to what I was talking about, like how you can just kind of like be like, oh, pull off the side of the road and shoot this spot. It's a little bit tough with drones. Like if you've got your camera, it's easy to jump out of your car and shoot photos or shoot some video real quick. But there's a lot of planning that goes into flying your drone, looking at airspace, making sure that the area is just like flyable, like there's not a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of stuff that goes into planning flying your drone. So that's something that is worth mentioning. But original content as a whole is hard to come by, and I often watch a lot of people's drone videos on YouTube, whether sometimes they're subscribers linking me videos, sometimes maybe it's just other videos I've come across, and man, I hate to say it, but a lot of them lack originality. A lot of them are taking the same stagnant shots, a lot of them are using overused soundtracks, and I think that you can have some great 4K looking video. You can have the equipment to do that, but originality is something that comes few and far between. It's something that you almost have to learn. You can't. You can't just come in original.
You do have to watch people. Like you do have to watch people and see what somebody else is doing. Like, and I'm a big fan of borrowing best practices. Like I may see something that you do, and I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna sort of merge that into like my skill set, and I may see something that somebody else may like, and I'm going to merge that into my skill set. So there's all these different techniques and different creators, and I honestly, from the drone world, I actually follow a lot of the travel vloggers. I don't really watch a lot of people in the drone sphere, because I want to see the cinema side of life.
Talking about originality and how like you started, I remember, and I think still this is true to this day, but the two favorite people I love watching on YouTube are Casey Neistat and MKBHD. Both of their videos are great, and I loved what they both delivered in their videos, so I figured, let me try to take both of their styles, combine it to make something that's my own, and then through that, when I took some of their practices, it's almost like I said, oh, Casey Neistat does this, let me do that, but I figured out that's not for me, but hey, a variation of that is this, and that worked for me. So it's about, emulating somebody, maybe in the beginning, saying, I like what he does, let me try it, but then through that process, you end up making your own style. Yeah,
you find your own colors for the video, and the biggest thing is being original is things that maybe people don't necessarily notice right out of the gate. It may take them a couple of videos for them to see, like, okay, he's got a specific style. Style doesn't always bleed through on that first video. Style bleeds through over a course of several videos, that they notice that there's one particular thing that is like sort of your trademark that you do. That's what makes it original to you. And then you may even notice that people will start to take your best practices of flight and blend it into theirs, and you got like this whole palette of tools.
Yeah, and it's there's something to be said about being original, because it feels so damn good. It feels so good to take a photo and say that, yep, that's my thumbnail. Nobody has this thumbnail. I'm using it, and it is going to look great. It's going to totally cap off my video. It's totally going to complete it. Whereas if I look around and I shoot a video about the Osmo Pocket, and I see that all these other people uploaded this video about Osmo Pocket, and I say, that guy's thumbnail is good, let me just recreate it. Whereas with me, I like to try to, I guess, think about what my video is about, try to emulate that in the thumbnail and make it my own. There's something to be said about just being fully creative, having something that's your own, being fully original.
And it takes time. Like you can go through weeks and weeks and weeks and just hit brick wall after brick wall and not have any like original thoughts. I've actually toned back my videos to like almost one a week, because I wanted to put my best foot forward with every video I do. And you just can't, like, when you're just churning out videos, it's very robotic, very cookie cutter, and the content just, it sucks.
I agree.
Like daily content, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
Because even, I remember when I was younger, I definitely watched Casey Neistat a lot more when he was really heavily doing his daily vlogs.
Right.
He even said that it just became like cookie cutter. It became boring. It was like a formula. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it wasn't testing him creatively. And that's something that I always think, sometimes I sit there and I get so frustrated editing a video because it's different, or I try different software and I get frustrated because I keep messing up. But at the end of the day, when I finish that video and I watch it back, I go, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I always like to try like new things, like new colors, not always use the same the same of the same. Like there's certain things I'll keep the same because that's just sort of like my genre.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder like when you're reviewing products or we're doing something, you have an idea. I feel like I take it to heart more when things like that get ripped from me because like, okay, you didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like you didn't try. Flight and vlogs, I think is harder to emulate. Like what we did today and some of these videos, like that is liberating to go out there and fly like we were.
Fun.
It was so much more fun than doing a vlog because I don't feel like I'm not selling the audience anything. I don't care about the product. I'm just showing you the result.
Yeah, we had this conversation today, and
it's so awesome.
I totally agree. Now, as we're getting towards the end here, I kind of want to give you guys a few tips you can take away to kind of practice. I guess maybe being original. See, that's the thing.
It's impossible.
It's so tough to like try to teach, but
it's absolutely impossible to be original. You're gonna borrow something from everybody, but the biggest thing to do is to not overthink things. That's tip number one I could say is don't overthink it.
Yeah, great, right there. I mean, overthinking things can sometimes lead to you just blatantly copying something. I mean, I don't know.
But you know what though? If you don't do it with the intention of copying, like if you're not maliciously saying like, all right, I like what Billy's doing, I'm gonna like literally emulate
like a Xerox, machine.
Yeah, don't be Xerox. Yeah.
Now, okay, so I do want to go back on something I said, and this is probably another tip that I want to give, is to watch other people's content from an area, get some ideas, but more importantly, watch that video and be like, that's what I'm not going to do. I want to make mine my own. And it's not to say like somebody gets an orbit of a video or an orbit of a structure and you go, oh, I can't orbit it now. But just try to maybe take it from a different angle.
Do it faster.
Faster. I'm all about fast speeds.
I know.
And I feel like that's something that I've emulated. That's my style. I love getting close to buildings. I love flying really fast. And I love making people say, oh shit, when they watch my video.
Yeah, you're the heart attack kid. I feel like if you had an entrance song as a wrestler, it would be like Brett Favre's song. Or not Brett Favre. God. Brett, Dad, I don't even know his name. Oh, and Bret Hart. You would be Brett Favre. Yeah, the football
Levi's jeans.
No. Bret Hart, man. You would be the Heartbreak Kid, dude.
Well, I mean, look, again, going back and watching somebody's video, you can tell, you can say that's not what I want to do, and you know whether it's for better or for worse, because you could look at somebody's video and be like, oh man, this sucks, and I want to make it better. Almost, that's a good. I mean, look, I don't mean to put anybody down, but you can look at somebody's video and get motivated by saying, I'm going to do better than them.
Yeah, I do it. I do it all the time. I'm not gonna lie. I am sort of.
I'm competitive.
And I'll look at things and just be like, I have to have a chip on my shoulder to fly hard.
No, but here's the thing. You sound so.
What? Sounds so what? No. Say it.
No, you just sound so motivated.
I do, because it pisses me off. Like when people do things haphazardly after I've done something and they blatantly do it. And I'm not calling anybody out specifically. You already know. But, hey, can you edit like a little gangster thing in there? Put the little...
what is it?
The Snoop Dogg thing?
Yeah, hold on, no, what is it? It's,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You put that in there when the 32 gig hits, okay?
It's way too complicated for an edit, and I just don't feel like dealing with it, so... All
right, well, digitally, that was there. Yeah, I like, honestly, I wake up in the morning and go to bed with the chip on my shoulder.
Okay, so a video we did probably like a couple of times ago that you came was when we had that drone battle, and we were battling out to see who could shoot the best footage. It was a friendly competition, but it also made us like shoot better video.
Oh, it was epic, man.
Like we were in Philly, flying in a city that I've flown in hundreds of times, and you've flown in tens of times. So we've got some great experience, and I was trying to go for shots I've never gotten before because I wanted something to stand out. And that's another thing to be said is when you're going to the same exact spots, it's really tough to be original to your own content.
I think it's good to fly with a partner too. Another way you can be original is like when we go and look at some of these places like today, we're looking at it, we're like, you know, we're always like, hey, look at this. And you're like, hey, I'm not going to use this shot. Why don't you go for the shot?
Yeah.
Like, so you sort of bounce ideas off. That helps you be original.
Oh, yeah. I you know what? I cannot stress that enough, being able to fly with somebody. It makes it so much better. I feel like, so we fly probably hours worth of flights together.
Yeah.
And then during the week, I'm just like, Ken's not here. I'm not going to fly.
Yeah, that's why I'm like at home. If I'm not working, I'm just like, this looks cool. But like, you're flying and you go look, and I'm like,
right. Also,
I'm like, I don't got anybody to share it with.
Also, it's so easy to be able to like be so in the zone on your drone, watching your footage. The drone zone. But then
now went through in the drone.
Yeah, but it's like you look at and you're just in the zone, and sometimes you could get somebody to come up on you and scare the hell out of you.
Man.
So it's nice to be able to have somebody just not there for like protection, but just to be there to watch over things. Like just two people makes it a little bit better.
Right, because we had a dude come up to us today, and he was nice person.
They're all really nice.
They're always really nice.
So many people are always so inquisitive about your drone, asking what it can do, this and that, but also like, where'd you come from?
Well, we're in an abandoned place. It was very creepy. Long Island's #1 haunted residence. It was just really creepy.
You know what sucks, man, is they're tearing it down.
They are tearing it down. So
I'm glad
fly.
I'm glad we got there, but here's another thing, and this almost strikes originality. Is as I was flying today, I was like, man, I would love to come back here in 6 months and try to beat the video that I uploaded today. So I always go with the intention that I want to
tear it down.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to fly it in the spring or summer. That would be cool.
Yeah, when the light's a little bit better, because even this weekend it was so overcasty. The Overcast Podcast.
We made like even with all the different like the Overcast, we found new things. Like flying in Overcast really isn't that bad. It's actually easy to sort of edit your video because now you have one consistent exposure.
I know, it's nice.
It was nice.
And as you're flying around, it's like you set your proper exposure value, and you don't really have to deviate from that.
You're done. It made color correction a dream. So.
Yeah, I know. It was like copy and paste.
Almost. It was. I love it. Yeah. But I don't think there's really much more to stress about this. This may be a little bit shorter of an episode.
Yeah, but I think it had to be said because originality, again, is hard to come by, and if you can really push yourself to be original, that's what helps you stand out. And a lot of people wonder, like, how can I grow on YouTube? Be original.
Yeah, do some crazy, just, I'm not saying do things that would get you hurt or in trouble, but I mean, you just got to be ingenuitive. You got to really think outside that box. And I know it's been said 100 times. People are like, well, what is this box I'm thinking outside of? Well,
and I look back and I see some people's channels, like for example, right, Mr. Beast. I don't know if anybody knows who Mr. Beast is.
Go watch his earlier videos.
Even some of his videos now, they're so original. It's just like nobody would even think to do that. He gives back so much money, and he uses his platform for good. And he like, out of all of these people right now who are blown up on YouTube, who I feel are doing like a lot of the same things, he is sticking out to me, and it's incredible. And like there's something to be said about that. If you're original, you'll find growth organically on your own. Sometimes it takes a little fire to start you, whether it's a viral video or whether it's sharing your videos. But that spark, once you go from there and you just post original content, you'll really be fast. You'll really be blown away.
And I think it's another thing too is like sometimes you'll find a creator that will stumble across your content and be like, whoa, that blew me away. And maybe they share your video, maybe they shout you out because they genuinely appreciate your work and think, well, hey, there are people around you that see your content and enjoy it as well. I mean, I've stumbled across lots of channels that I'm just like, damn. And they have like, 100 or 25 subscribers, like smaller amounts. And it's like, share that video because it really does help them and it pushes them. So it's like a sort of scratch my back type of thing.
I mean, look, it's like at the end of the day, right? It's blood, sweat, and tears. It's hard work.
It is.
And you know what? All a part of that is being original. So, guys, let us know what you think down in the comment section below. I'm sure there probably won't be many questions about this episode.
Yeah.
Not really much to be said, but you know what? Being original definitely does go a long way, and I would encourage originality over anything else. You can get a Spark, and you can be original with that drone. You can get a Mavic 2. You can be original with that drone. And really, it's just learning about how to use the equipment you have to make something nobody else is.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll see you guys again, same time, same place next Sunday. And as always, stay original.
Keep it original.